We're going to go down deep into the garden shaft, Big Brother and I.
All set.
Let's go. My brother and I are going to be miners, and our heritage is mining.
After pouring millions into the Oak Island mystery, the Lagina brothers have finally hit the jackpot. Their new excavation just broke through into a massive engineered void 160 feet down, confirming a huge structure has been hiding beneath their feet all along. The sheer scale of this discovery is staggering. You are about to witness the moment the ground gave way, revealing this impossible underground world. But you can't imagine the shocking Roman numeral markings found on the entrance beams, or the even more unbelievable artifact the sonar scan detected sitting right in the center. The 100-foot drop. The air on Oak Island is thick with a tension you could cut with a knife. For months, the team has been driving a massive 10-foot wide steel caisson, a giant cookie cutter for the earth, down into the garden shaft, an area near the original money pit that has become the new ground zero. Truth be told, this wasn't just a random shot in the dark. Advanced seismic surveys and water testing had painted a tantalizing picture of what might lie below.
What do you think you hit?
The last spade bit, I thought I hit something different.
See that?
The test revealed unusually high traces of gold and silver in the groundwater, not just random flecks, but a concentrated plume that suggested a large deposit was slowly leaching into the earth. More than that, ground-penetrating radar showed a bizarre anomaly, a spot around 160 feet down where the signals just stopped, as if hitting a solid flat roof. At 95 feet, the energy on site is electric. The dig is now deeper than many previous searches, reaching a zone marked on old treasure maps as dangerously unstable. A massive claw-like hammer grab plunges into the caisson, pulling up load after load of dirt and clay. The first signs of something extraordinary begin to surface. Ancient wooden beams, dark and waterlogged, appear in the muck. But these aren't just random logs, they are hand-cut, some with squared-off edges, clear evidence of human construction. At 110 feet, the finds become even more stunning. More wood emerges, but this time there are markings. Faint but unmistakable, Roman numerals are etched into the surface. Believe it or not, these weren't just for counting. Numerals like 4 and 8 were alignment marks used by ancient builders to assemble complex structures, like a deadly, oversized IKEA project. The implication is staggering. Someone with serious engineering knowledge was building something massive down here, long before modern machinery existed. The crew pushes onward, deeper and deeper. 130 feet, 140. The steel caisson groans as it forces its way through centuries of packed earth.
If you want to expose more of it, we can add one more section and then go deeper. That'll give us another 32 inches.
You have to go deeper.
At 160 feet, the depth of the anomaly, the tension is almost unbearable. This is it. This is the moment they've been waiting for. Then, it happens. The entire operation shudders to a halt. The caisson has hit something solid, something that refuses to budge. The machinery whines under the immense pressure, the steel cylinder vibrating violently. Is this the top of the vault? A bedrock layer they missed? For a heart-stopping minute, nothing happens. Then, without any warning, the resistance vanishes. The massive multi-ton caisson suddenly drops. Not an inch, not a foot, but a terrifying 10 feet in a single gut-wrenching plunge. A deep, hollow rumble echoes up from the shaft. The ground itself seems to tremble as a gaping void opens up far below, swallowing the caisson. On the surface, the crew scrambles back as dust and debris cloud the air. They haven't just hit a chamber, they've broken through the roof of a massive cavernous space. This isn't a sinkhole, the sonar readings are clear. This is an enormous man-made tunnel, at least 12 feet high and stretching horizontally into the darkness, far beyond the reach of their cameras. It's an underground roadway, big enough to drive a wagon through. The discovery is world-changing, but it's also unbelievably dangerous. The entire area is now structurally compromised. One wrong move could trigger a full-scale collapse, burying the discovery and their hopes forever under tons of earth. The greatest find in Oak Island's history is now also its greatest threat. They stand on the precipice of history, staring into a blackness that holds centuries of secrets. But to understand what they've just found, they first have to look back at the 200 years of failure, death, and obsession that led them to this very spot. The ghost of the money pit. Oak Island doesn't give up its secrets easily. In fact, it actively fights back. This tiny 140-acre drumlin of an island off Nova Scotia has been a magnet for dreamers and a graveyard for their ambitions for over 2 centuries. Long before the Laginas arrived with high-tech sonar and million-dollar machinery, the island's defenses were already legendary. The story begins in 1795 when a teenager named Daniel McGinnis found a strange circular depression in the ground. Directly above it, a thick oak tree branch had been sawed off and showed signs of wear from a rope and pulley. Any farm boy would know this wasn't natural. He and his friends started digging, and just 2 feet down, they hit a layer of flagstones. At 10 feet, they hit a platform of solid oak logs, then another at 20 feet and another at 30. This was a clear sign. Something valuable was buried here, and someone went to incredible lengths to protect it. But they were just kids, and they soon hit a wall they couldn't pass. Water. The pit began to flood, and they were forced to abandon their search. Fast forward to 1804, when the Onslow Company arrived with more money and men. They dug down to 90 feet past the log platforms and made the island's most infamous discovery, a large stone tablet covered in a mysterious cipher. According to later accounts, a local professor translated the symbols to read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. That stone, the key to the whole mystery, conveniently vanished decades ago, leaving behind nothing but a legend. The Onslow Company tried to dig further, but at 98 feet, the pit violently flooded with seawater. They had triggered the island's ultimate defense, a sophisticated booby trap. Later searches would uncover a network of expertly engineered flood tunnels, 5 of them in fact all converging on the money pit from a nearby cove. Get this, they were designed to fill the shaft with water faster than any hand pump could drain it. This wasn't pirate work, this was military-grade engineering. Throughout the 19th century, the story repeated itself. The Truro Company took a stab at it in the 1860s, drilling core samples instead of digging. Their drill passed through layers of wood, what felt like loose metal, described as metal in pieces, and then something truly bizarre: coconut fiber. Coconut fiber in the cold climate of Nova Scotia is as out of place as a penguin in the Sahara. It had to have been brought there by ship from the Caribbean or further, used as packing material or insulation. The question is why? What was so valuable it needed to be packed in exotic material and guarded by a fortress of logs and water? Then, in 1897, another drilling operation pulled up a tiny scrap of parchment from 153 feet down. On it were 2 letters written in India ink, Vi. Was it part of a larger message? A clue from a Roman text? Like everything else, it offered more questions than answers. The 20th century brought more tragedy than treasure. 6 men have lost their lives on the island, fulfilling a grim prophecy that 7 must die before the treasure is found. In 1965, a treasure hunter named Robert Dunfield tried to brute force the mystery, bringing in heavy bulldozers and digging a massive crater 100 feet wide. He found nothing but disturbed earth and went home broke. Then came the most tantalizing and frustrating discovery before the Laginas: Borehole 10X. Drilled in 1971, this shaft, located near the money pit, was explored with an underwater camera. The grainy footage showed what appeared to be a flooded cavern containing wooden chests, tools, and, chillingly, what looked like human remains. But before they could be retrieved, Borehole 10X collapsed, swallowing its secrets once again. For decades, it seemed the island would always win. Every attempt ended in flooding, collapse, or financial ruin. It was as if the island was cursed. This history of failure makes the new discovery of the massive underground tunnel even more mind-blowing. The old booby traps were designed to protect a vertical shaft. But what if the real secret wasn't down, but sideways? The Lagina brothers may have just stumbled upon the real path, bypassing the deadly traps that ensnared all who came before them. The vow to solve the mystery. You see, Rick Lagina, the older of the two, wasn't a millionaire or an engineer. He was a retired postal worker from Kingsford, Michigan. but when he was just 11 years old in 1965, he picked up an issue of Reader's Digest and read an article about the Oak Island money pit. For most kids, it would have been a cool, spooky story forgotten by the next day. But for Rick, it was a lightning bolt. The idea of a mystery that had stumped people for centuries, a puzzle involving pirates, booby traps, and untold riches, took root in his imagination and never let go. It became his lifelong obsession. His younger brother, Marty Lagina, was the pragmatist. While Rick was dreaming of treasure maps, Marty was studying to be an engineer. He had a brilliant mind for business and a knack for seeing opportunities where others didn't. After getting his engineering degree, he went on to get a law degree, a powerful combination of skills. In the 1980s, he founded Terra Energy Limited, a company focused on natural gas extraction. Marty was a pioneer in the field, and his timing was perfect. In 1995, he sold the company for a reported $58 million. Suddenly, the practical, down-to-earth brother had the kind of fortune that could turn a wild childhood dream into a reality. For years, Rick would bring up Oak Island, and for years, Marty, the sensible businessman, would brush it off as a fool's errand. But Rick was persistent. He believed with every fiber of his being that something of immense historical importance was buried on that island. He wasn't just after gold, he was after the answer. Finally, in 2006, an opportunity arose. A controlling stake in Oak Island Tours, Inc., the company that owned most of the island, went up for sale. Rick convinced Marty that this was their chance. With Marty's financial backing and Rick's unshakable passion, the brothers bought their way into the world's greatest treasure hunt. They weren't just reading the story anymore. They were about to write the next chapter. When they started, they brought a new level of technology and scientific rigor to the island. But even with their resources, the island fought back. They spent years and millions of dollars with little to show for it, but a handful of intriguing yet inconclusive artifacts. They found a lead cross potentially dating back to the 13th or 14th century, hinting at a Knights Templar connection. In the island swamp, they unearthed a mysterious stone-paved road suggesting large-scale operations once took place there. They found a 500-year-old brooch with a garnet gemstone and even traces of human bone deep underground. Each find was a breadcrumb, a small victory that fueled their determination. But the big prize, the source of all the legends, remained elusive. This quest was chronicled on the hit TV show The Curse of Oak Island, turning the brothers into unlikely celebrities and bringing millions of viewers along for the ride. Now, with the discovery of the massive underground tunnel, everything has changed. This isn't just another coin or a piece of old wood. This is the breakthrough Rick has been dreaming of since he was a boy. It's the kind of discovery that could validate decades of obsession and vindicate the millions of dollars Marty has invested. But as they stand on the edge of this vast, dark void, the ultimate question hangs in the air. Have they finally found the path to the treasure, or have they just awakened the island's most dangerous secret yet? So let's just talk turkey for a minute. You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, a giant tunnel. What does it actually mean? This is the point where the story goes from a simple treasure hunt to something else entirely. Did this happen overnight? And if it is real, what are we all missing? The thing is, the possibilities for what this tunnel represents are so wild, they make pirate treasure look boring. Possibility 1, the Templar Vault. This is the big one. The theory goes that the Knights Templar, after being disbanded in 1307, used their massive fleet and immense wealth to flee Europe. They needed a place to hide their treasure, not just gold, but sacred relics like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. An isolated island on the other side of the world equipped with ingenious military-grade defenses would be the perfect hiding spot. A massive tunnel system would allow them to transport and store these items securely. The Roman numerals found on the wood, that lines up perfectly with medieval European construction. The lead cross they found earlier, another piece of the Templar puzzle. Possibility 2, the pirate superbank. Forget one pirate's treasure. What if Oak Island was a communal bank for the most powerful pirates in the world? Men like Captain Kidd and Blackbeard. Instead of burying their own individual chests on random islands, they pooled their resources to create one impenetrable fortress. An underground tunnel system would be the central corridor of this illicit bank, leading to different vaults. The coconut fiber makes sense here, as it would have been readily available to anyone sailing the Caribbean trade routes. This would explain the sheer scale of the engineering. It wasn't one crew, but a consortium of the most successful criminals in history. Could this tunnel lead not to treasure, but to a truth about our history we were never meant to find? Let us know what you think below. Like and subscribe for more answers.